Hello, my lovely fellow crafters. Welcome to another Craftersations. If you can have your craft, go get it, or just sit and be beautifully calm and still, if that's what you need. I finished the butterfly book from last time, and it is winging its way to Canada to my husband's cousin, or cousin's family, and I am now working on actually a crochet commission for a friend. It's a mock-up, or not a mock-up, it's another of the blue sweaters that I made for myself. She saw it and liked it and asked if I could do another one. So I get to go through it again. So let me know what you're working on your side of the screen, if you're so inclined. And let's do some crafting. So a couple episodes ago, I had started talking about my family, and I thought this time I might share a little bit about one of the amazing women who were part of my life and my upbringing. One of the examples for the kind of woman that I want to be, the kind of human I want to be. And so I wanted to share a little bit about my Grandma Sally today. Grandma Sally, Grandma Vargas, some of my male cousins call her just Grammys. And she would be my dad's mother. Sadly, she is not with us anymore, but she did live a very long life with 6 children. And I probably should have counted before I started this, but many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So she left a legacy, although she really wanted to make it to 100. She was kind of funny like that. But my Grandma Sally came from very, very humble roots. There are a variety of stories in our family about the hardships that she experienced growing up, a relatively poor town in New Mexico. She was one of, I want to say like at least 13 siblings. There were a lot of them. It was a big family. And, they didn't have a lot. So I can only imagine that led to my grandmother's resilience that she demonstrated as an adult. Strong in her faith, Catholic. And she married my grandfather, and I'm not sure when they moved to California. But that's where they eventually ended up. Must have been California. And they lived in a small house in what my father describes as a barrio in Santa Ana. Not one of the better areas of Santa Ana, but somehow they made it work. And they raised up their children to be productive, hardworking people who had honor and integrity and a drive to, do something with themselves that was better than joining a gang and causing trouble. And so for that, I have a lot of respect for my grandparents. But my grandmother, when I think of my grandmother, she was like the embodiment of truly selfless love. It did not matter what you did, what choices you made, what path you found yourself on. She loved you, and she would pray for you, and she would feed you. You ate well with my grandmother, even if you weren't hungry. I can't even count how many of my cousins she took under her wing over her life, gave them a safe place to stay, and just a loving place to come home to. She loved her Dodgers. She would watch them on TV. She would yell at the calls. Yeah, she loved her baseball. And she loved to visit. My grandmother could talk. That woman could gossip. And she remembered everything. Everything except your name when she was trying to get your attention. Then she'd have to go through like all of her children and all of her grandchildren, and then maybe she would get to you. But usually it would just be mijo, mija. Keep it simple, Grandma. So we loved her for it, though. We would tease her about it, but we loved her for it. As she got on in years, there was something, I don't know if it was her circulation or her nervous system, but for some reason one of her hands was always colder than the other. And so she would go around with one glove on, and my dad would always tease her that she was trying to look like Michael Jackson, because he went through that phase with one glove. I don't know if she got it, but the rest of us did. She had a very good nature. And she never let her circumstances get her down. I don't know that I ever saw her worry for herself. She worried for the people that she loved. But I don't know if she ever worried about herself. I think she truly trusted that God would take care of her. And that whatever happened was supposed to happen. So when I think about how I want to love, I think she's a pretty good example. I think she is a woman worth emulating. And I think this world would be a much more secure, happy, and content place if we all had a Grandma Sally. In our corner. So while I dry myself off over here, I would like you to think about someone in your life who has set the example for how to love. Someone that gives with their whole heart, who puts no limits on their love. And who made you feel whole when you were with them. All right. Well, thank you for crafting with me today. I hope you had a little work done. I did. And until next time, cheers and happy crafting.